I'm going to Zoom to record.
Okay. All right. Well, we are so excited tonight to be able to be joining. Let's see if we can change our view here so that we're both, there we
There we
go.
go.
We're joined here tonight with Dustin and Kristy Schumacher from Lead, South Dakota. It's not Lead, which I thought it was when I first moved to the area, but Lead, South Dakota, home of what is it, Wyatt Earp, and what other bad characters have museums there? Dustin, Kristy?
Not Wyatt Earp. It's Deadwood's
Oh.
like Wild Bill Hickok, Seth Bullock.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Wild Bill Hickok. Okay, and then who else?
Seth Bullock, Calamity Jane, those kinds of
Calamity Jane.
Poker
That's
Alex.
right.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to go home for our family. It's home for just up the streets where the ski resort is. So we like to go up that way. Well, we are glad to have them tonight. Obviously, it's always a hard time when we join with people because unfortunately we know that we've had people that in our lives that we've lost. And Dustin and Kamryn lost, or Dustin and Kristy lost their little daughter, Kamryn, in 2017, the same year that Lily passed away. And we met them 1 year later, Kristy specifically, at the swimming pool in Spearfish. We were up just swimming with our family, and there was an announcement over the intercom that it was Kamryn's birthday, and anybody who wanted Rice Krispie treat could come over. And so we went over, and because we wanted Rice Krispie treats, and then we had watermelon-shaped Rice Krispie treats. And at that time, then Kristy shared with us that Kamryn actually wasn't there, but she had passed away, but they're selling her birthday on July 14th and celebrating it with these watermelon Christmas
Rice
Krispie treats because of that was one of Kamryn's favorites. So,
and just that act alone, that just was like embedded into my heart. Of obviously we had just lost Lily a year ago also, but just made me really like, it stuck. And I was just like, how cool is it that these people have lost their daughter and they're coming to a place that she, you know, loved swimming, and they just had all of her bubbles going, her favorite things, and that they would come and they would just serve everyone. And that was just so neat to me. And we thought about it, you know, it never left our minds, and we would talk about them. And Josh has an employee that knew them through, I don't know, friends or something, but, and then we're like, we want to do something for them. And we got this picture painted for them of their family, but it took us how long to get it to them? Like
8
probably,
months.
yeah, it's right there. It took us a long time to get to them, but it was just how it all worked out. It was kind of perfect timing, and how Survivors came about. And it was just so wonderful to, on Christmas Eve, we met them in Dustin specifically too, in their home, and just such a neat time to meet again and share our stories with each other. And so it's been really cool to connect again, and we're excited that they're here tonight to share their story.
And Kristy, maybe you can help us out. Michelle, how do you know Michelle, or what's that connection?
Michelle is, I don't know that Kristy does know Michelle very well, but Michelle's kind of a friend of a friend, and it's a small town. I mean, everybody's acquaintance with everybody. She's a wonderful person, and yeah, she's a good person.
She is an amazing person. She works in our office. She's been there for coming up, I think 2016. So she's a little over 4 years. It's going to be her 5th year working, and she is absolutely somebody who serves like crazy. Well, we would love to just turn it over to you guys and have you share a little bit of your story and share with us the message you'd like to share. And to all those that are listening, we just encourage you to reach out. I know Dustin and Kristy, just in personally meeting them, I know that they would be willing to help in any way that they possibly can, if possible. So glad to have you guys with us tonight. So turn the time over to you guys.
Well, like you say, I think serving others really helps us cope. Really, I mean, it's really helpful to cope. And when we talk about the watermelon shaped Rice Krispie treats and things like that, she loved watermelon.
Mm-hmm. She's her favorite. She called it apples.
Yep. She called watermelon apples, and she'd always say, what do you want to snack on? She'd say apples. And so we knew that was watermelon. Sometimes it was apples. It was legitimately apples, but she really liked that. And so just being able to go into a kid-friendly place where kids are having fun and spread some joy and some love. That's what our little Kamryn was all about, was just joy and love. And she was funny, and she was, she had her own little "I love you" sign that she passed on to everybody. And it was just like this, because we tried teaching her this when she was really little. And her fingers wouldn't quite do that. And it ended up being this. And so she passed that on, and we passed that on to everybody that we come in contact with. And we'll run into people in the grocery store that walk by us and do that. And it makes us feel so good that we're just, we try and continue to spread the love that she always embodied with her short time with us. And so along with that same day, I think, wasn't it her birthday, we walked around, or we went to all of her caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
So Kamryn had cancer. She had a brain tumor, DIPG brain tumor. It's 100% unsurvivable, unfortunately. And so, that's heartbreaking for us as parents after a very long time of trying to have Kamryn, and we were finally lucky enough to have her. And so since she had cancer, she had a lot of hospital caregivers. And so that same day, I'll let you talk about that a little bit. I don't want to talk about everything.
Oh, that's okay. So we also wanted to serve the caregivers that meant so much to her. She loved
every one of her caregivers. We had such amazing caregivers right here in the Black Hills. Of course, we had to go to big major hospitals and major children's hospitals in Minneapolis and Denver, Colorado, to get her treatment. There's not exactly hundreds of pediatric neuro-oncologists in the world, and so let alone in this country, and definitely none in Western South Dakota. So we had to travel a lot for that, but at the same time, she spent a lot of time. We were very lucky that there was caregivers here. There was a doctor here willing to take her on and do radiation, and we thank the good Lord for that every day, that we were able to be home instead of in a hotel room or something like that for her entire treatment. So we had really great caregivers here, and as a matter of fact, some of them we're still in contact with to this day. If you follow our pages and our Kamryn Crusaders page, or even our personal Facebook pages, everybody knows Nurse Stephanie. Nurse Stephanie, unfortunately, she was the one that had to be with us when we found out that Kamryn had a brain tumor that first day, and she rode the entire wave with us and still is riding it with us today. And she's a part of our family now, and we love her very dearly.
Absolutely. She actually showed up to the house the day that Kamryn was declining so much that we knew she was going to pass. And she didn't show up unannounced very often, but she showed up that day. She just knew in her heart, and she held her in the last few hours. She's very special to us.
Very special.
I knew I wasn't going to get through this without bawling, so I apologize.
Well, I apologize if I start rambling on. She's supposed to reel me in every once in a while. I talk a lot, but
well, there's been plenty of tears on this over the last 9 months, and it's we always say tears are just remnants that we still love deeply, and we still love like crazy. So cry all you want, Kristy.
So it was important for us that on her birthday, that same day that Kristy met you folks, that we went around to the different caregivers and different units within the hospital, and we shared treats and cakes and celebrated her birthday with the people that really cared for her and the people that we love so much, and really wanted to say thank you again for all they did. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but as much as it's hard to go through what we went through, and I guess that's kind of the theme of this whole deal is as hard as it is to lose someone, lose a child, be told that your child has cancer, and then be told that your child has an unsurvivable cancer. That's all terrible. But the reason that it hurts so much is because we love our families. We love our children. We love them with every ounce of our being. And no matter what, we tell people all the time, if we could go back in time and save ourselves the heartache, say there's a time machine and we could go back into time and say, hey, don't have another child. Save yourself the heartache, and that now you'll never know of the heartache. We would never do that. Obviously, we would, because that heartache is because we had so much joy, and we were blessed so much to be able to have her in our lives, even for the short period of time that we did. She passed away just a couple of months before she was going to turn 3 years old, and that's blessing number one. Is just the fact that we really got her, and that's the core of everything that we want to talk about today. It's count our blessings, because we would never trade our loved one for the joy that we got by being around them, especially our Kamryn. So
we can't say enough about the communities also. When we were going through this journey with Kamryn, the fundraisers that were held and the support from each of our workplaces, we didn't have to go to work for an entire year that our daughter suffered. We were right there with her the whole time. And
wow, amazing.
Our coworkers made that possible, and we couldn't be more grateful. So something that we started once Kamryn passed, she loved to swing. She was absolutely enthralled anytime she was on a swing set. So something we did to try and thank the community was we got these face-to-face swings set up for parent and child. We had the first one installed in Lead, and then the next one was installed in Spearfish, and we're hoping to install one next year in Deadwood, but we're gonna have to do some fundraising. It got a little more expensive than we expected. But the face-to-face swings have been a big hit. We get lots of families that take pictures of them swinging with their little ones, and it just warms our heart. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the community, I mean, Western South Dakota as a whole in the Black Hills, we couldn't ask for a better place to live, I mean, our community really rallied around us in a way that is unprecedented in my mind. I guess I've never seen it before. I've never heard about it before. And we're just constantly searching for ways to kind of pay back that, or to show our gratitude to the folks here, because, man, without them, I mean, truthfully, we should have probably had to work through her sickness and still be bankrupt and homeless. And what, cancer is not cheap, regardless of if you have great health insurance or not. It's not a cheap, it's not a inexpensive disease, So, but because of the great folks around here and our great coworkers and stuff, we were able to get paid from our jobs the whole time. And not only that, people really stepped up to help us out with some of those expenses.
They're really good. Do you want to talk about Kamryn Kares?
Yeah, we can talk about Kamryn Kares real quick. So Kamryn Kares is a 501c3 nonprofit that is the brainchild and creation of Kristy's childhood best friend, Amy. And I wish I could talk about Amy all day here, because we love her so much. She lives in in Lincoln, Nebraska, and she was here all the time while Kamryn was sick. She made that 10-hour drive every other week. It seemed like, yeah, it's one way, 10 hours. And she was here all the time, and she just really supported us, and we love her so much. And so when after Kamryn passed away and we were struggling with a lot of this service type stuff, and you want to do something, you want to really do something to remember your loved one, and in our Kamryn, we want to make sure that people don't forget her name, things like that. Amy really, she came to us with this idea of Kamryn Kares, and she got it off the ground. I wish we could take some credit for any of it, but she's really the driving force and the idea and everything behind it. We really just are lucky enough to support Kamryn Kares any way we can.
We help with the fundraising and the referrals and things like that. But so Kamryn Kares, for those that don't know, is a nonprofit organization. We get referrals from parents, friends, grandparents on children that are facing big battles. It could be anything from a tragedy with severe burns or cancer or congenital heart defects, anything that they're facing, any age up to 18 in the United States. And what they do is once we get a referral, we contact that family and find out their favorite things, their favorite color, their favorite characters, their favorite hobbies, their favorite everything.
Their
abilities too. That's another thing. And we get them a canvas bag, tote bag that says Kamryn Kares on it in their favorite color, filled with their favorite things to do. And there's always a little bottle of bubbles in there because Kamryn loved bubbles. There's always a book called You Are Brave in there, written by Chelsea Chapeau, one of our good friends. And it's filled with toys and things that are specific to them, to that person. And say the child doesn't have arms or something, we don't want anything in that bag that is going to make them feel like they can't use it because they don't have arms or something like that, or they can't see. We want it all specific to their abilities and their likes. So, and then that gets shipped to their home address or their hospital, wherever they're staying. And we hope it brings them a lot of cheer. And we know Kamryn would be so proud of us and so proud of Amy and so grateful.
It's all about sharing the love and really just putting smiles on kids' faces that are battling tough times. They're having childhoods that's not normal for a child. They don't get to go out to the playground every day like other kids, and or whatever it might be. But regardless, they're having an abnormal childhood, and they might not get as many smiles as other kids because of they're getting poked and prodded in hospitals or whatever it might be. But we'll send those bags to Amy sends those bags. Yeah. We'll send those bags to homes, hospitals, wherever we need to send them to share the love and put smiles on faces. And that makes us feel really good.
Yeah, COVID really interrupted the process. Amy also didn't want any families to feel like, oh, should we even open this? Should we use what's in there? And so she really tailored it back during COVID. But in 2018, she sent approximately 700 bags out. So yeah, it's pretty great. It takes a lot of fundraising though to ship those bags. It's $22 per bag is about the cost. So it gets expensive, but it's so worth it and so good for the heart.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So getting back to kind of how we count our blessings and the things that really make us feel grateful, aside from just the fact that we were able to have her in the first place, and be able to take that year off. We really ended up coming out of it in the end, Kristy and I, it's as I'm sure anybody that's lost a child understands that, if you come out the other side of that and your marriage is still intact, it's quite remarkable, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of decisions that have to be made, that, at least in our case, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made as far as treatment that, well, one of us could have very strong feelings about, and the other one might have very strong feelings the opposite way. And we were lucky that we were on the same page most of the time, for especially for the big decisions. To sit down at a table, and for two parents to sit there and look at each other, with your child sitting on the couch and having to sign a do not resuscitate order is heart-wrenching. And trying to figure out what's best for your child in that respect is very difficult. And so we were very lucky that we usually agreed. We probably always agreed. I don't know that we really had disagreements as far as her care or treatment was concerned. But the fact that we were able to come out on the other side and still be strong, and I would say we even came out stronger on the other end. We're very lucky for that. Yeah. She's crying because she's so happy to be married to a guy like me.
For sure.
That's the feeling I got when we met you on Christmas Eve, Kristy. So
and I agree with her. She's lucky.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Family. What do you want me to say?
All right. So
he's the talker. I'm not the talker.
Well, yeah. So stop me if I'm rambling. But that goes the same with our family. Our family and our friends across the board were amazing. Every time she was, if Kamryn was in the hospital 10 hours away, we had a room full of family and friends that overloaded and was a little overwhelming to the staff, I'm sure. And we're so grateful for that. What a blessing that is to have a family that supports you and to not have enough chairs in a room for all your family that's spending night and day in a hospital room with your 2-year-old as she's battling this illness. We're really grateful for that, and our friends that took care of us, and our friends came over and would shovel our sidewalk and mow our lawn and you name it. I mean, and bring food by the house all the time, and I mean, there was so much food, all of our family couldn't eat it all the time. I mean, those kinds of blessings to get to have family and friends like that is priceless.
One of the questions that you guys have kind of touched about just a little bit, that how does that affect you guys on a daily, weekly basis to try and give back? Because you mentioned that the community there, that how does that affect your daily decisions, or does it affect, how's that?
As far as what?
Just in terms of the way you live your life.
Like there's
because you keep mentioning, you mentioned about the community, you mentioned your family, the caregivers, and everybody's like, how does that changed you, or how does that affect your life since then?
We keep in touch with so many people that supported us throughout it. They're all very important to us. Some have unfortunately battled similar tragedies in their lives since then, and we are the first to show up at the fundraisers and stuff. We want to give back as much as we can. And the community as a whole is just, we shop local. It's so important to shop local, guys. just support those that support you. It's huge.
No, at the same time, I mean, we're naturally people of service. I mean, we've both chosen careers that serve our communities every day. Kristy's a nurse. I work in law enforcement, and that's all we've really ever done is those kinds of jobs. So it's nice to be able to give, even serve that. I mean, it's our natural, our natural calling, our natural mindset. So
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, there anything else that any other items or things that you guys wanted to cover tonight?
Not off the top of our head.
We were waiting for Dustin to start crying for how lucky he feels to be married to you, Kristy.
That won't happen.
Okay.
I'm very lucky.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, the common themes that you guys have shared really and I want to reinforce to you guys that those opportunities that you've taken to serve those get the chance to go and think, realize how much they needed things were after the accident, because
you guys are breaking up quite a bit. Sorry if we're missing pieces.
Yeah, we're not getting a lot of it.
Yeah, we came and it was kind of obviously a traumatic scene, but going back to talk to those first responders that you
I think we lost. I don't know. We're having a bad connection there.
Being on Survivors and sharing your story and being just such great examples of what service and helping those in need after you had such a loss. So thank you so much. And I know that at least one person, I think it will help more than one, but if it just helps one thing. So.
And one of the things that we're going to
go ahead.
Thank you, guys.
Are you guys? We stopped our recording here now, so we're still heading off of our live. Just hang on here for just a second there, Dustin and Kristy.
Yeah, we lost you for most of that.
Okay. Let me see if we can find. Stacy and I struggle with ending live sessions.
Well, we're lucky. All we had to do was get on this end and you control everything else.
So go there and then right here.
Okay, let's try.